Hello and welcome to Psychology Live. I'm Dr. Gail Majcher, and with me is Mary DiPaolo, limited licensed psychologist. We are doing a series on the impact of the coronavirus on mental health. I mean, this is such a big topic. I'm sure we'll probably be talking about it in various forms for the next year or so. But we wanted to kick off real quick with three. We couldn't do shows over the last year because of quarantining. We both have been vaccinated. Thus no masks. We feel comfortable with each other. However, we do wear our masks when we're out and we social distance. So in our last episode, we talked about some of the negative impacts of coronavirus, and we hope that you watch that because we think that's a real important one, even though we'll be covering it more throughout the shows. Still, it's worth watching. Today, we wanted to start off with some positive things that have developed as a result of the coronavirus. And Mary has one that is so cool that we just want to share with you.
Yeah, thank you. I'm creative, but I didn't know I was as creative as I am. So I started looking at YouTube videos and got interested in what I saw as being acrylic pour painting. So this was one of the first ones I ever did.
Isn't that beautiful? I mean, it's amazing.
And this was one of the early ones I did also.
Beautiful. This is acrylic pour painting. It's not brush painting.
This is a Dutch pour for those of you that, may want to look it up. And this one is one that I've done for a friend of mine's business, which is interesting. If you've not yet heard of the Michigan Connection in downtown Northville, it's a great little store that offers all kind of Michigan-made products to customers. And so exclusively for the store, I've developed this one, which we call Smitten with the Mitten. And so
isn't that cool?
That is an acrylic pour painting, and it has a little heart in the section which depicts where Northville is. So this can be ordered on commission in the colors of your choice, but it so happens that these were the colors I made it of.
So that's our little commercial for what Mary's been doing. But the point is that a lot of people have become very creative during this time. Mary happened to find the acrylic pour painting, and I mean, she's obviously very gifted and talented, and she was able to learn something brand new, watching YouTube videos and whatever, and create such beautiful pictures. And a lot of people have chosen other things to do. One of my good friends has taken up French. She's listening to it all the time, and she's learning it. It's so important that we find these kind of positive things to do. I personally am working on a book on psycho-spiritual life lessons. So that's been a focus because like we talked about in the last show, if we don't have a focus and we have too much free time, it's very easy to spiral down into depression. We have all been hurt in life. Every one of us have had things happen to us that just aren't fair, and it's easy to stay stuck there. But if you pull your mind out and find a different focus, especially if it's something creative, you feel so much better.
That's absolutely true. And I know I've referenced in the past Lawrence Gonzalez's book, Surviving Survival, which is part of healing from, literally, PTSD. Healing from PTSD, which, believe me, we've all gone through it with COVID to some degree or another, is that you have to find something new and different from what you haven't done before. So you force your mind to focus, like Dr. Gail's saying, on something new and different, which then gives you a powerful distraction away from your pre-existing thoughts and feelings, which are more often negative than positive when you're going through something like COVID.
So many of my clients have redecorated their homes. They've painted. They have been purging their homes. There's so many things that you can do versus going down. So when you find yourself starting to drift into that negative space, think, what can I do that's different? Something maybe I've never tried, or cleaning out my closet because I've been wanting to do that for 5 years. Just finding those things that work for you.
And think how fundamental breathing is. We've talked about breathing in the past, better and more deeply and more slowly. When you're anxious, when you're upset, this is a great breathing technique. Hands over heart, as you inhale through your nose, heart, mind, sky, exhale going back down. That's a yoga move, but
Yoga
it works.
Well, that's another thing. Good topic to bring up. You know, I'm a real proponent of yoga. There are so many classes that you can watch online. And no, it's not the same as going to a class, but you can still do a class. One of my clients was telling me she just listens to it and does it, so she doesn't feel like she has to be watching it. So that's an important thing to do. Flipping a little bit too, when you start to go down, it's really important to connect with other people. And we do have things like FaceTime, Zoom, whatever you want to use.
Facebook chat.
Yeah, where you can connect with people. I know throughout the quarantining, I had certain girlfriends I would meet with once a week online. No, it's not the same, but you're still connecting with other people.
Mm-hmm.
So I think there has been a tendency by a lot of people now, because they couldn't connect, to stay withdrawn. So check yourself and see if you have pulled back more and more from people. We are social beings. We do need people around us. Some more than others, there's no question. It all depends on your personality. But we still need connectiveness with other people. So if you have pulled into the shell because of COVID, pull yourself out in some ways. Call someone, Zoom, FaceTime, whatever you need to do, or put on a mask and go say hi to your neighbor and drop off some cookies. Or
how about connecting with your own family and your husband or your wife and children? Because, you know, children are the collateral damage, because if we're not okay, they're not going to be okay. So you could teach them something like the acrylic pour painting and have fun with it. You can play games again, games perhaps that they've never played before, because, you know, that's another thing about with each successive generation. They think they got to buy a game instead of just making up a game in their heads, like I Spy. Remember I Spy? That was
so
a fun
simple.
Game.
Last night we were with a family group to celebrate a couple birthdays, and the age range was from 8 into the 70s. But yet we could all sit down at a table and play games.
Right.
I mean, there's something about that, and of course you always end up laughing. And it just does the heart good.
Right.
And then you feel connected to each other when you do something like that.
And we forget about, you know, the power of serving others as well. You know, we have 5 senses we experience life through: what we see, what we smell, what we hear, what we taste, and what we touch. But we have a 6th sense, which is our spiritual side. Why don't you do something nice for somebody else? Like bring a meal and leave it on the porch with a note for your neighbor.
Or cookies or whatever.
Anything, whatever it would be. But, you know, when we think outside of ourselves, that's very helpful in helping us to be better given whatever we're going through or feeling.
Some of our family members last night were telling us that last night, once it was dark, they were going to go hang some Easter eggs on the tree of the people next door, so that when they would wake up, they would see that. They were going to stuff eggs and just put them around the neighborhood for kids. They themselves are leaving on a trip. So it wasn't even for their benefit. It was for the benefit of the other people. However, it was for their benefit, because you feel good when you do those kind of things.
That's right. So there is a lot positive about what has happened to us all in this past year, but we have to give ourselves permission to think about the positive, live in the now. Don't just talk about it, take action, because that's another thing. It's easy to just lay around and watch Tiger King like we all did, you know, last winter, whatever. There are other things that we can do.
It's like enough binging.
Enough binging.
We did it. It served a purpose, but it's time to live now.
Right. So now it's time to go.
Really?
Before we go dark. I know. These videos go quick.
We are going to continue doing our shows. So you have 3 up right now. You can watch. You can share them with other people. And we thank you so much for being our audience. You're wonderful. You can't imagine how much your presence blesses us.
And if you ever want to reach us, tell them how they can reach you personally or how they can reach me.
Well, you can go to Dr. Gail at drgail.com.
Right.
Very simple.
And you can reach me through my blog, www.yourweeklysession.blogspot.com.
But you can also leave us a message right on YouTube.
But tell us we're good and not bad.
No, if there's constructive criticism, it's perfectly okay.
That's right.
Okay, so
Bye.
be good to yourselves. Bye-bye.